But when the one guy who's in the 4.5% of men who comes out and he is rich, he's good looking, six-pack abs. When that guy comes along, guess what? Women are far more likely to share a successful alpha than be saddled with a faithful beta.
I want to ask you about the kind of rise in people saying, oh, you should have like multiple girlfriends and stuff like this, right? So
what do you think I'm going to say to this?
I want to, so there's two sides. There's obviously like the practical side of things in terms of like, you know, should you do that or not? But I also want to discuss from like the woman's perspective, the psychological impacts of a guy who has multiple girlfriends. But I want to give the caveat that the guy takes care of financially, but he's also there like emotionally for like the children, and he's also plays a big part in it. So that's obviously like a lot to do, but yeah.
Here's the thing. Women that accept cheating men are cheating women. It's really that simple. And women who don't accept cheating men are the loyal ones. So if you're going to cheat on your wife and you're going to cheat on your partner and you think, but I'm looking after her so it's okay, and the red pill community really pushes that, here's what they're not realizing. Only unfaithful women are okay with that deal. I promise you. I work with them every single day. What happens is the woman that's actually loyal and really loves you, she can't handle the anxiety of it. She can't do it because she's too loyal. She's too loving to this, that, and the other. She disappears. She makes her life hell. She's horrible, whatever it is, but she tends to be loyal. But the woman who is there for a paycheck and who is there sneaky, accepting it, this, that, and the other, I promise you she's plotting her revenge, because in this day and age, the loyal woman, and where she would just stay at home and just close the door when you would do something, they don't exist anymore. We have to accept that doesn't exist anymore. So if that woman doesn't exist anymore, and yet you want to do that lifestyle, accept that only the women that are able to take a financial rather than an emotional investment are going to stay. You're filtering it out. Those women tend to be disloyal. So if you are going to create that dynamic, be prepared that you're also getting it back, but she's not telling you, and she's doing it using your wallet. I've never seen it not work that way. Never. Maybe because I do in big cities and stuff. Maybe it's different in like, you know, rural areas and this, that, and the other way. The women doesn't have it. But the reality is it takes a certain type of woman that accepts that. And that type of woman is the one that's like, okay, I'm going to keep quiet. Honey.
That's so dangerous. You know what I mean? Like the whole...
Here's what it is. You know? The children suffer.
That's what I mean, yeah. It's going to be back to the core, and that generation continue on.
In my experience of seeing couples where both are doing that, the only people that suffer are the children, because mum is disconnected, dad is disconnected, and they're not connected to each other. When they're connected to each other, the shared goal is the children.
Ladies, anybody want to say anything about this? So only women who would accept a man who has multiple girlfriends. She called it cheating. It's not cheating, by the way, if you're open about it. Only a man who would accept a man who has multiple girlfriends would only do so because she's also cheating. What do you think?
Yeah, that's just weird. You would have to be open on both ends. So yeah, she would have to be open on her end.
So you don't think there's any possibility that a guy could have multiple girlfriends and his main girl is not sleeping around with someone else?
No, actually that is possible, and I've seen it. So, you know, women can be totally
you've seen it? Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Absolutely.
And so she's okay, so we're anecdotal information and anecdotal information. Interesting. Go ahead, Michelle. What do you think?
I kind of went through this, but I mean, it's, I don't know how to say it, but I'm just gonna go off my experience. If you're not getting it from someone, they're getting it from someone else, kind of thing. But if it's like a known thing that you already know, say long distance, where like you know, like you're kind of like doing your thing, but it's like, you already know it's not working out with you guys, but it's more the comfortability like realm where you're just comfortable and you don't want to leave because you've been together for so long. Exactly. Then you guys both know, but you guys don't want to cut off. I can see that aspect of it, but no girl is going to be okay with some guy cheating on her and having multiple people. And it's, even if it's justified as like cheating, like it's not, I don't think that is, unless you're spoken about it and like you're okay with that and that's what you're into and stuff like that.
It's not healthy.
What do you think?
I think, I mean, I don't know, but my guess would be that if a woman is okay with her man having multiple girlfriends, or if he's cheating, is because she is scared to be on her own. Maybe they have like multiple children and she just doesn't want to like go back out there and find like a new man, or maybe she's a stay-at-home mom and doesn't have a job. So if she leaves him because, you know, he's cheating.
100% of the time, she's also cheating. That's what she said.
No.
That's what
I think it could be because she is scared of, you know, hey, if I leave him because he has other girlfriends and I don't have a job, now I'm out on my own. And I think it's just being
or
scared.
what the other girl failed to mention is maybe the girl is like also okay with it, like an understanding where like the guy can have multiple girlfriends, but as long as the girl is like included in it also, like the guy can't be excluded.
What an interesting idea. Never heard of that, Sabia. What an interesting idea.
But
Can't
like
wait. Okay, go ahead. What do you think?
So not me personally, but I've seen this dynamic in other people, like people that I care about. I've just seen it. And I agree with her. I said, typically it's because, you know, he's providing and maybe that she has kids and she's financially dependent. I've seen that dynamic.
I don't think that the woman is cheating as well if the man is at all. I think that, I mean, maybe they both have an open relationship, but I don't think that the woman is doing it behind his back. I do think that men, which I don't know this for sure, but I think that men typically probably sleep in an open relationship and the woman doesn't do it more than you see a woman doing it also. But I don't think that either's cheating if it's an open relationship.
The answer to this one is very, very clear. She did not bring up any studies because there are no studies, because this is obviously nonsense. I know tons of guys who have multiple girlfriends and they provide for them and the girlfriends are faithful. I've seen it. The idea that she says there's a 100% correlation. Now, are there times where guys have multiple girlfriends and the girl's like, okay, I'm going to cheat too? I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but her data was on her experience as a doctor. That was her. And I'm like, no, there's no data on this. In fact, if you go back to the Bible, this entire our society was based on individuals, where polyamory or polygyny was very, very common, meaning one man with multiple wives. I'm not saying that's the only way to do it, but the idea that because a man has multiple wives, that all of those women are cheating. Hey, hello, Islam. All of Islam. Hello, all of Islam. You can have 4 wives. So every single one of those wives are cheating, according to Sadia Khan. Again, this is one of these things where what she's doing is called talking her book. This is something that she probably feels in her relationship. Yeah. She wants to be true. So she's expressing that it's true in every case. It's clearly not true in every case. And especially if you deal with polygynous couples that date women together, a male and a female heterosexual couple that date women together, which I know, I live in Las Vegas. You and I probably know 30, 40 couples like this. The woman is not cheating behind the man's back. That's not what's going on. She didn't bring that part up either. So this is kind of disappointing because I agree with most of the stuff that Sadia Khan says. This is clearly something where she's saying because she needs to feel like it's true. This is not true. It is true sometimes. It is true sometimes. I don't think it's true most of the time. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, first of all, Sadia Khan is not a clinical psychologist, and her credentials are in doubt. So I'll just start with that.
I want you to come on the call. Yeah. Come on my show, Sadia. Don't come on his.
I know. I'm happy to have her on. I'm happy to have her on. That'll be the first.
We will wine and dine your ass.
That will be the first thing out of my mouth when you come on this table.
We'd love to have you on, Sadia.
Anyways, the idea is that she's saying what she thinks sounds right, just like the guy who's sitting across from her. He's dancing around this, very uncomfortable, even proposing this to her because he probably knows what she's going to say, right? The fact of the matter is, it's like she throws this and wipes this off on the red pill community. It's like, no, that's not what the red pill's about. That's a practice. That's not like the praxeology of the red pill. And I'm so sick of people putting like practices as this is the ideology, this is the philosophy, this is this. So that's number one. The other thing is that we both know an individual.
Of course, he's the guy who sent me the video.
Who sent you the video and wanted us to opine about this.
The guy who sent me the video right now has babies with his baby's mama and dates and the two of them date other women together.
And we know,
and it's just absurd. Like the whole thing is absurd. Like it's just one of these situations where it's like this. She said the thing she needed to feel was right. Yeah. And the other part about it was
playing to a moralistic audience right now because that's what's playing this.
How scared the guy was in front of her, like even bringing it up. Okay, so just so you're clear, if you guys read the Rational Male, it doesn't say anything about having multiple girlfriends. Right. It says about spinning plates, meaning I can
dating non-exclusively.
Dating non-exclusively is not the same thing as having multiple girlfriends. And this is the part. So what he needed to do was he when he's talking to Sadia Khan because he's afraid of the reaction, he goes, but that's what those red pill guys say. Right. Oof, okay, I'm safe now because I said that's what the red pill guys, which they didn't. If you want to do that, that's fine. But what people in the red pill say is spin multiple plates, date non-exclusively multiple people. Yes. Ladies, have at any point in your life, have you dated multiple people non-exclusively? Have you gone on dates? Raise your hand. Have you dated non-exclusively? Crazy. Sadia, they must all be cheating. Yes.
There's something wrong with them. They must be like damaged.
They must be damaged. Immature. It's just so funny. It's like whenever I hear this stuff, I keep waiting for the study or the source, but of course there is no source because there's no way you're going to be able to prove this is true because it's not true. There's tons of women out there, like all of Mormon, all of the Mormon church, all of Islam. They do this, the polygynous lifestyle. I'm not recommending it for people, but I'm saying the idea that it would never work is preposterous.
So let's get back to when we were talking about how women have to create their own security, right? You only have the choices of the abuser, the incompetent, or Homer Simpson. Those are your choices, ladies. You don't get anybody else, right? But when the one guy who's in the 4.5% of men who comes out and he is rich, he's good looking, he's 6 feet tall, 6-pack abs, finance, blue eyes, trust fund, 6'5", all that crap. When that guy comes along, guess what? He gets sexual selection that all the other motherfuckers that you were trying to get with before doesn't get. And so what happens is women are far more likely to share a successful alpha than be saddled with a faithful beta. That's red pill. That's out of my book. Yes, they would rather share that man, however that works out, whether it's in marriage, whether it's in he's got multiple girlfriends and he's not dating non-exclusively. That guy can do that. You know why? Because he is such a rare animal on planet Earth right now that women go, you know what? Maybe if I just keep up the good work. She's plotting her revenge. She's plotting her revenge. She's damaged goods. She's damaged. She's plotting her revenge. She's doing it herself.
Well, Jolie, what do you think about this?
You can do your thing. I just don't want to know.
You can do your thing. You just don't want to know.
I don't want to know.
Okay, but would you ever f around behind his back?
No, I wouldn't.
No?
Because to me, like, it just destroys that man's alpha.
Okay.
Like, the man's no longer alpha if you're going out and sleeping. But of course, he needs to make sure that he provides and is like security enough to where, like, I would definitely say.
Again, my issue with what Sadia Khan said is that this is the case every time. Every time a man has multiple partners, every time the girls are cheating, and that just isn't true. I know as many examples of where it isn't true as she claims to know examples where it is. And by the way, as a therapist, is she dealing with couples that are doing well?
No.
Or is she dealing with couples that are trouble? So now what it is it's a selection bias in the couples that she's choosing.
Yeah, she's speaking in black and white terms from her experience, but the reality is just nuance is human error and people do different things.
Well, let me add one more thing to this conversation here. When you're dealing with that one rare animal and sharing that one guy, there has to be a sort of a compromise. And so that doesn't necessarily mean a woman is necessarily damaged for doing something like that. And I think that when we throw out words like that and saying that it's an easy dismissal to say that, well, anybody who would be involved in that kind of a situation must have daddy issues. They must have,
because it hurts her narrative.
Yes, it hurts the narrative.
One girl would accept that lifestyle and not cheat, it hurts her narrative. And then here's the other problem. Now that woman is now more desirable. You understand?
Yeah.
More because of that attribute, she's now more desirable than Sadia. That's the problem. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes, yes.
And I'll tell you something else. You want to know who probably had this conversation with her? Her partner.
Yeah.
Her partner
Most
probably
likely.
had a
Most likely,
hey, you know, Sadia, you know, I love you, but you travel so much. You're doing all these podcasts.
Come to Vegas.
You travel so much. You're doing all these podcasts. I'd like to see other people while you're gone. And she's like, no, that can never happen. No, because what happens now, if her answer is anything other than that, then her partner comes back and is like, oh, wait, but you said that the men can have multiple partners. You travel all the time. You barely have any time for me. If one woman would accept that reality, her narrative cracks. Yeah. That's the reason why she believes it. And we call it talking your book. It's like when Elon Musk says Tesla's awesome. Because he owns stock in Tesla. He's saying Tesla's awesome. He's talking his own interests. We say talking your book. Sadia Khan here is talking her own book. She's trying to express something that makes it's more convenient for her narrative.
Well, it also goes back to, we live in the 20th century. And you're still thinking that relationships are governed by 20th century relationship, ideals. And the fact of the matter is, now that we are in the state that we're in, here we are close to 24 years into the 21st century right now. Guess what? We're trying to realign and trying to figure out just what the is going on. When we look at like marriage rates of being like 6.1 per 1,000 right now, we look at divorce rates, we look at as I was just saying, the two will never meet. The two will never come together until there's some sort of mutual compromise, and neither one of them wants to blink. It's just this big mutual global sexual marketplace game of chicken right now. When this kind of stuff happens and they have these really kind of disingenuous conversations, it doesn't help the fact that people are on like men and women are on opposing sides. Then they try to make it political and say that, oh, women are going to be more liberal and men are going to be more conservative. And that even further divides the gender. So